At the same time, he holds in his left hand a box containing sweet-smelling spices, while the sexton or some young boy in attendance, probably an adolescent I would think, at the services holds a burning taper. The reader begins the ceremony by intoning the words, "Behold, God is my salvation. I will trust and not be afraid, for the Lord Yah is my strength and my song. He is also become my salvation, and ye shall draw water with the joy from the fountains of salvation. Salvation is with God as a noun and verb. May thy blessing be on thy people." Contact prayer. God is a noun, a verb of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge. Contact prayers. The Jews were once favored with delight and joy and gladness and honor. Thus may it also be with us. I will lift up the cup of salvation and call upon the name of God as a noun and verb. Hereupon follows the benediction over the goblet of wine. Isn't that technically classified as sorcery? Because you're dealing with drugs. Praised art thou. God is a noun and verb. Our God, King of the universe, creator of the fruit of the vine. Putting down again the goblet, the presenter recites the benediction over the spices. It reads, "Praised art thou. God is a noun and verb. Our God, King of the universe, who creates diverse species of spices." Opening the box and inhaling some of the fragrance, the presenter proceeds to the blessing over the light. He holds his hands over the burning taper and says, "Praised art thou. God is a noun and verb. Our God, King of the universe, who creates the light of the fire." Taking the burning taper from the person who has held it, the presenter extinguishes it in the wine of the saucer, and while doing so says, well, I guess you can use a non-alcoholic fruit juice too. Well, no, that's not what he says, but okay. So he says, "Praised art thou. God is a noun and verb. Our God, King of the universe, who has made a distinction between things sacred and profane, between light and darkness, between Israel and other nations, between the seventh day and the 6 days of labor. Praised art thou. God is a noun and verb, who has made distinction between things sacred and profane." Well, all of life can be sacred if you want, but yeah. The various elements of the Havdalah are not without their symbolic significance. The principal meal of the day was taken after sundown. Light and burning incense marked its special character. These could not be procured on the Sabbath, on which the use of fire was prohibited in the words from Exodus 35:3. "Ye shall not kindle a fire in your dwellings," and therefore had to be enjoyed upon the conclusion of the Sabbath. Today, the spice, the substitute for the incense, is, according to some teachers, made to stand for the pleasure which the Sabbath brings, while the light is to remind one of God's creation the first day, to which the approaching day of the week corresponds. Outside of this, we see, particularly in the Jewish tradition, various meanings attributed to the different herbs and spices. So, the overflowing of the cup with wine is symbolical of the enjoyment of God's unbounded grace for which the Jew hopes. The placing of the hands over the light by the presenter when he reaches the words between light and darkness is simply to illustrate the words by showing the light inside the hands and the shadow outside of them. The Havdalah is also celebrated at the conclusion of the holidays, but with the difference that the blessing of God as creator of the light is omitted, since on holidays excepting the Day of Atonement, fire could be handled. On the night of the Day of Atonement, the blessing over the spices is omitted from the Havdalah. unless the Day of Atonement happens to occur on a Sabbath, in which case all 4 blessings are recited. The Havdalah undergoes a change also. If the Sabbath is followed by the 9th day of Ab, a fast day in commemoration of the destruction of Jerusalem, in this event only, blessing over the light is pronounced on Saturday night. That of the spices is omitted, and the remaining 2 blessings are recited Sunday after the fast. The goblets used, both in the sanctification and the conclusion of the Sabbath, are of different materials and of various designs. The more costly one is always used for the sanctification. The goblets are in the shape of either cups or tumblers. If the goblet is of silver, it is as a rule engraved with Hebrew characters. And side books of the Bible talked about certain works being done in silver. Not in a positive way, but, the same sort of mystical technology can be used for serving God, can it? And experiencing in favor of that mythology. The spice boxes used at the conclusion of the Sabbath also vary, both material and design. I thought I was going to try to say poplar, but a popular box is one made of cedar wood said to be imported from the Lebanon. Boxes of this kind are usually inscribed with Hebrew for Jerusalem. Yerushalayim. Well, it was known as that from the Aramaic period, but there was a scene in that language, not just a sheen, so Jerusalem as well. If the box consists of, earlier on anyways, if the box consists of silver, it is usually in the form of a tower with a silver flag flying on the top. Spice boxes range in size from 3 to 12 inches. The collection of Jewish ceremonial objects at the Smithsonian Institution at the United States National Museum in Washington contains a spice bottle made of china with its neck and oxidized silver. The taper used is always of pure wax. It consists either of 1 piece or 3 pieces twisted together. It is used either with or without a candlestick, but mostly without one. It must be kindled by none but the observing Jew, who is forbidden to touch fire on the Sabbath. Sunset Friday to sunset Saturday. In addition to these 2 institutions, there is no others marking the services on the Sabbath in the synagogue.